Hello and welcome to today's video, and today's video is going to be a tier maker with the all-time Premier League strikers. And the first one on this list is going to be Alan Shearer. Alan Shearer, Harry, what's your opinions on him?
Thrown in the deep end of Alan Shearer.
Should we put him on average straight away?
Just put him in average, just goals merchant. I want to kind of preface these picks by saying that first of all, we're getting a list off tier maker, so we've not put all these, but all the strikers in there are kind of the strikers we picked anyway. We have not lived through every single one of these footballers' primes, would you say?
I wouldn't say primes. We have lived, but not on the primes, definitely.
Yeah, definitely, and we've not watched them as consistently as others. No. Like, we have not watched...
we'll talk about it anyway. You'll find out basically, yeah.
But we thought we'd do this because it's quite an interesting opinion topic that you can join in with in the comments. You can slag us off for our opinions. We want you to slag us off as much as possible. Do you want to go through the 5 tiers before you'll see them on the screen, but just go through kind of like why we wanted to. First of all, I would like to say that none of these players are below average, but you might disagree, but like on this list, we didn't want it to make it look like they're the worst, so we've structured them in the way that it's kind of like the best of the best.
Because in the day, the Premier League footballers are not going to be...
Yeah, they're not going to be average.
Made at the end of the day, so.
But we just thought we'd just preface this by saying that we've kind of split it into GOAT, which are the best of the best, World Class, which are just brilliant players, very good, really good players, good, were just kind of good, and then average was kind of like, for this list, they were quite average compared to the rest of them.
Well, it's just average striker in general, because there's a couple on this list where we just say they probably are average, but... Anyway, we get the first one, so Alan Shearer.
Alan Shearer, all-time Premier League goal scorer, Premier League winner with Blackburn, formed a brilliant partnership with Chris Sutton, which a lot of people have been able to do. He was just a natural born goal scorer, wasn't he? Question for you: would Alan Shearer score as many goals as he did back in the day in the Premier League today?
I would say he is a Harry Kane player.
So you think he would?
I think he'd be similar to Harry Kane. I think he's a Harry Kane that doesn't get injured.
Yeah.
So I reckon he'll be scoring goals.
I think it's quite simple on this, isn't it? You've got to put him in goal because he is factually the greatest Premier League striker of all time. And you talk about statistics, no one kind of gets close to him. So I think this is one of the easy decisions we'd have on the list.
Next one we got on here. So this is all going alphabetical order, funnily enough. First names, which we don't mind.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So the next one is Andy Cole. So Manchester United. I think he's second on the list. I think all-time Premier League goals. I think very high anyway.
Yeah, he is second. Yeah.
So what more can you say? He's won many Premier Leagues in Man United. That's not much of an achievement, is it?
Yeah, but, especially in that era. But all I've heard about Andy Cole, well, obviously we not watched him as much.
He was a loan at us. He used to be played first, mate. Andy Cole.
Yeah.
So that's the thing I know about.
He was just a complete and utter bagsman, and someone said he was like probably one of the most underrated in terms of that era, because obviously Van Nistelrooy was the one who would score you the goals.
Him and York.
York, yeah. But Cole was just fantastic for United in that era and was a constant source of goals. But United had a lot of brilliant players in that era. He was just one of this incredible group. I don't claim to know a lot about Andy Cole, but I think the fact that he is up there in terms of goal score, anyone who's kind of like up there in terms of scoring the most goals, is what a typical striker should be. I think there's a lot of players on this list that all-round players would be better than Andy Cole. Same with Shearer, really. But as an out-and-out goal scorer, he was world class.
I mean, in the day, you're not going to score nearly 200 goals and not be world class.
Yeah, he's not very good. I think he's nearer the top of.
And he's
in the very good category. Sorry, he's not like he's teetering on the edge of, because his goal scoring record was just phenomenal for United, wasn't it? So yeah, would you agree with Wilcox?
Yeah, so I've started doing that straight away. Next one is in C, and it's Carlos Tevez. You obviously
dear to my heart, Carlitos.
He's one of those players. On a day, you can be world class.
Phenomenal for West Ham, for Manchester United, for Manchester City. He's won Champions League, Premier League, kept West Ham in the Premier League with that goal on the final day.
Yeah.
A controversial player in more aspects than one. The move from United to City not even being the least of it, when he went on a golf trip for 8 months, come back and kind of helped City win the Premier League was another one. He was a phenomenal talent. His work rate was second to none. One thing I've seen about Carlos on documentaries and stuff is that, have you watched his documentary?
I personally not. No.
Oh, it's really, really good. I recommend it. One thing about Carlos is that he might give you these antics off the pitch, but as soon as he stepped onto it, he'd give you 110%.
Cool.
And I don't think he's up there in terms of goal scorers. He was a fantastic poacher.
Right.
But as an all-round player, I'd put him in very good. Teetering on the edge of world class. Do you know what it is? It's probably because I'm just looking down this list. We might have move a few later. Are we allowed to move a few later?
So, yeah,
right, okay.
We're putting for now and we'll review it.
I would put Carlos Tevez in very good, in my opinion.
I've always put very good as well. I mean, like you've said before, I said on his day he could be a very good, but like up to world class player, but he's just not consistent enough to think to be a very world class player. So I think for that reason, personally, we've got him very good. I reckon.
Yeah. All of these are fantastic players.
Oh yeah. Next one we've got here on this list, obviously this, like I said before, and Harry said, this isn't our list. We just found it on Tiermaker, so some of these players I don't like. Anyway, next one we've gone for is Didier Drogba, the Chelsea legend. I mean, when I went to watch Wigan versus Chelsea, and he's got a hat trick, and he on his day, I want to watch him more. I don't know for Chelsea, anyone for Chelsea fans, on his day, he can be. This player would go on my all-time Premier League 11. Personally, is the starting striker.
There was an interesting interview with someone who was quite close to Mourinho at his time at Chelsea, and Mourinho was at. Mourinho was at Marseille before he moved to Chelsea.
Definitely somewhere in France.
Yeah, I think it was Marseille.
What, Mourinho?
Not Marseille. Sorry, not Mourinho. Didier Drogba.
Yeah, definitely somewhere in France.
And Jose Mourinho, whoever Jose Mourinho was managing at the time,
Porto might have been.
I'd played him, and he said he knew from 2 minutes into that game that he was fantastic, and he went up to him and said, "I can't buy you at this club, but one day I'm going to come in for you." And he said apparently that the first day he was in at Chelsea, he said, "I want Drogba. Of all the options that are available, they'd be like, 'Are you sure you want this?" And he said, "I want Drogba." And I mean, he won the Champions League at Chelsea. He was one of the Premier League's best for so many years.
Won the Premier League as well.
Won the Premier League, yeah. Oh, this is a tough one. Did he score? Is he better than Carlos Tevez?
I personally think he's world class.
No,
because like I said to you, I think he's just on his day. He's the absolute top dog. Like I said to you, we might do a future video on our like all-time Premier League 11s. But I personally think this guy is world class.
Okay, I'll go with you because I was on the edge of very good or world class. So if you think he's world class, we'll put him up there. The only reason that honestly he is world class, but the only reason was obviously because of the other players that are in this list.
Next one we got here is Dennis Bergkamp. We are both 20-ish years old, so we've not seen Bergkamp in his prime, but obviously we've seen yeah. Do we want to talk about the Argentina and Netherlands video? Dennis Bergkamp. No, he's just that Arsenal side with Henry, Bergkamp. It's going to be quite hard to not say that they aren't very good players for a start. I mean, Dennis Bergkamp was the first player that made football look effortless to me.
Yes, exactly that. Yeah.
You might get annoyed with him for walking around the pitch, but he walk around the pitch and score like a 30-yard screamer. It doesn't make any sense how this guy played so well by playing like that. But
and everyone knows that goal, that assist, their goal against Newcastle, the flit around the player.
So,
in the Premier League, interestingly, I've just got it up here. 87 goals and 94 assists in 315 appearances.
Crazy.
That's a really good record, especially for a lad who was playing off Thierry Henry. So Thierry Henry was centre stage there, but he was playing off him, and to play that kind of number 10 role, I'd say more than a striker, and get that record. And I think us, like you said, being as young as we are, doesn't do him enough justice, because we haven't seen him week in, week out like we see some of the players week in, week out, today. But purely from things I've seen, I would put him in.
I do think he's better than Carlos Tevez.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I'm happy to go world class.
Yeah, I'll go world class. I was going to say world class. How long was he in the Premier League? He was with for a long time. Was he there for a long time?
I'll say at least a decade.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I don't know. Probably about at least definitely 5 years at least. I know he's doing that. Well, I did 315 appearances, so on average.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you couldn't
on
have been
average,
for
say
quite a while.
50. So on average, say make
10 years.
45 or 50 each season. That's about
8, 9 years.
8 or 9 years, yeah. So
fair enough.
next one we got on this list is Diego Costa. Yeah, I don't really know what to say.
Absolutely brilliant player, but he's nowhere near in terms of how long he stayed in the Premier League and what he achieved in the Premier League. Look, he won a Premier League. He was integral in the Antonio Conte side that won them the league that season.
Mm-hmm.
As a footballer, he's one of them players that you love to have on your team if he's at yours, but you hate him if he's against you.
Yeah.
Physical, but really good technically on the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of this list, I'm going to put him at good because he didn't play a long time in the Premier League. He had a lot of controversy.
Right.
But as a footballer, he was definitely better than an average footballer. He was a really, really he was a very good footballer. But what he achieved in the Premier League, I'd put him in good. Is that controversial?
No, I agree with you. I mean, unless someone else on the YouTube disagrees or any place we put it on, but I think he's probably he can be very good on this day. But like we said, he's probably on the good side, as more the fact of the longevity of how long he's been there as well. I mean, obviously now. He's been released from Atletico Madrid as well. Something's gone on there. I mean, he's free agent now, which I don't know why Premier League haven't gone in for him yet.
No, they said there was a few that they were interested in, but it's taking on that burden of having a brilliant player but having a lot of problems off the pitch, and a lot of clubs do want, especially with COVID and stuff like that around at the moment.
So we think
good. Yeah, I'd say good.
And the next one we've gone for not I've gone for. The next one on this list is Dimitar Berbatov. Straight away, I'm thinking similarities to Dennis Bergkamp. Personally, but obviously I don't think he's Dennis Bergkamp.
No, nowhere near that level. He signed for United with a lot of Premier League clubs interested in him. Signed on deadline day.
Not by deadline day sign, is it at all?
No. Technically fantastic. Is it 5 goals that comes to mind in one match against?
I believe it was.
Was it against Fulham? I can't remember who it was against, but he was a good source of goals. Maybe not like 30 goals a season.
No.
But difficult with Berbatov because technically he was a fantastic player.
Yeah.
That's
why I'm saying it's similar to the fact in Bergkamp, where he just walk around the pitch, all of a sudden he'll pick a ball up from 60 yards in the air, and then just beat 2 men and then whip the ball across. But he's not got the pace of the Andy. I'm trying to think of quick players. I can't think of quick players. He hasn't got the pace to say Rashford nowadays or the quick players you see. He is literally the man who will sit there as your target man and just walk around and find those spaces that you wouldn't normally see.
I'd say he did much more than Diego Costa in this league.
Yes.
Did he do more than Carlos Tevez? I don't think so.
I reckon I'd say very good.
I'd say very good, but below Carlos Tevez.
Okay. So we'll work out in a minute the list, but we'll do this for now and we'll say we'll move it across eventually when we work out. So one after Dimitar Berbatov is Dwight York. So like we said before about Andy Cole,
very similar to Andy Cole.
Yeah. But at that time, Man United had such a different loads of choices. Andy Cole, Sheringham. You get into that point where you had a lot of strikers on offer there. I mean, even Solskjaer was coming at that point as well. I mean, Man United had choices are endless, especially the class of 92 coming through as well. So it's an unbelievable side, and it was kind of hard not to score in that side. But that's no taking away from Dwight York in the slightest. But I'd say Andy Cole was personally better than Dwight York on that scale.
Yeah, so I agree.
I'd go personally for very good straight away.
But he's got to be the top of very good, right? His goal scoring record was brilliant for United, and he formed, one of that incredible partnership.
I'm happy to do that. Yeah.
For now, I'm going to lob him at the top of very good, so better than Carlos and Dimitar Berbatov. Maybe doing him a bit of disservice, but
next on this list is Emmanuel Adebayor, as you know very well. So
I know Adebayor because he plays for City. My opinion on Adebayor, first of all, I think he's going to be, looking at this list, I think he's probably going to be one of the ones in the bottom category of average.
Right.
On his day, Emmanuel Adebayor was breathtaking for quite a tall lad. His presence in the box, and he played really well for Arsenal. Then he came to City, and for 6 months, I'm pretty sure for the first 3 months of his City's career, he scored in every game, including that one against Arsenal. That's one of probably the most iconic Premier League moments with that knee slide. But compared to these other players, he was distinctly average as a footballer, and his career kind of tailed off after.
I mean, personally, I think he'd be an average footballer anyway. As in, when you look at forwards, you don't go, all right, the transfer signings that are available. You say, he'd probably be doing like a little job on that, like 5 or 6, maybe 10 goals a season. So I think personally, I'll be an average like striker personally in the Premier League. So do you agree for average at the bottom?
I'd go average.
Not by saying anyway, he's a shocking striker by any chance.
No,
but
no.
bottom of this average, as in.
We said this before, innit? Like no one is as a bad striker on this list. That's all.
Next one is Kung Fu kicking man, Eric Cantona.
I know. I kind of know how much of a kind of world class talent Eric Cantona was by the fact that they're comparing him to Bruno, and I think it was more the transformational effect he had on Manchester United when he came in. Again, we weren't around back then, but the fact that they're comparing Bruno to him, and Bruno has come in and had such a big effect on United, I think it only speaks volumes of. And he was an icon, like he's a Premier League icon, Eric Cantona. And it just so helps that he was a really good footballer. So I would straight away whack him in world class. Where he goes,
that's for you. Well, we could put him in world class, but we'll probably put him in, I reckon, above Bergkamp and Drogba.
Yeah.
And I reckon under Cole.
Yeah, behind Cole. I agree.
But also think in the Premier League era, he didn't play many seasons in the Premier League either.
No.
So if you're going off Premier League kind of thing, then I mean, I don't think the stats really do him justice. To be fair, I mean, he's just a very world class player. I mean, you see a lot of the videos you see on Sky Sports. I can't doing that celebration where he walks around that. John O'Shea, that he did.
I think it is, like I said, the transformational effect he had on Manchester United. A lot of people say it better than us, but he was just world class, and he's adored by Man United fans. And to get that title from a club as big as Man United, they've had so many kind of icons. I think that kind of speaks volumes about his ability.
So the next player we've got is Fernando Torres, the Spaniard, playing for Liverpool and Chelsea. Basically, two different careers he had, mainly.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows Chelsea. Two different reasons. One for the miss against Man United, and two for Gary Neville's orgasm against Barcelona. So, I mean, on his day, he can be one of the best strikers in the world, Fernando Torres, personally. But I think a Chelsea career has basically tarnished that, and I feel like he's just very good. I'll say now, personally, as a striker. What do you reckon, personally?
Yeah, I think if he'd have continued at Liverpool, he'd be put in world class, and he had a world class career at Liverpool. He tarnished it a bit, I think, by going to Chelsea.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any need for the move at all.
No.
But yeah, he was a fantastic forward. Was he as good as likes of Cantona and Cole and Drogba? Maybe in terms of quality, but no, I wouldn't. I agree with you. Very good. I'd put him below York, but above Carlos. Yeah.
The player we've got is Harry Kane. Still playing today.
Yeah.
Just one on this list actually still playing in the Premier League.
Hampered by injuries in the last couple of seasons, but
yes.
Still is scoring consistent amount of goals. Consistently 20-25 goals in a Premier League.
If he stays at Tottenham for the next 4 or 5 years, he'll beat Shearer's record. The current record he's going.
Yeah, the current rate. I don't think he's in the world class category as of yet. I think he's world class in terms of striking ability, but in terms of all time Premier League gates, I'd put him in very good, because if he retired today, I'd put him in very good.
Right.
The problem he's also got is that he's not had any achievements apart from personal ones like Golden Boots, and the World Cup Golden Boot was a big one. With Tottenham, he's won nothing. So maybe if he moves to...
Do you think winning something with a team makes you better than someone else?
Yeah, because you have a winner's mentality.
Right.
I don't know. I think like some players have been discounted over the years because they've not won anything. I think not to an extreme level, but I do think it gives you some edge over some players if you have won something.
Right.
I mean, like, knowing what it takes to win. Like Mourinho, all these years has been classed as a brilliant manager because he knows how to win. Maybe not so in the last couple of years, but it just gives you that edge. But I'd put Kane in very good, but the low end. Right. But he will go into probably
world
if he
class.
stays
If he stays in the Premier League,
he could go to world class and then potentially he could become a GOAT because he'd be with his goal scoring. But at the moment, I'd put him there.
Okay. Next one we've gone for is Jamie Vardy. So Jamie Vardy, once again, still playing today. He's still playing at his age at the speed and the pressure he's doing. I mean, he's one of the players that Diego Costa don't want to face him.
Yeah.
Do you? He was in my fantasy team. He's now injured, which I'm a bit gutted.
Same.
But like Kane as well. Now I brought in Kane in just recently, and he's injured as well now. But like I said, Jamie Vardy's one of those players where you hate to play against. He gets on fans' nerves more than the players.
Yeah.
As you can tell by all his celebrations.
Seen the last 2 games with Leicester how they've struggled without him as well.
Yeah.
He's a very key player for him. Very easily could have gone to I don't want to say bigger, do a bit of disservice to.
No. I understand what you're saying though. Yeah.
But he definitely could have done a job for one of the top 6. Where he fits on this list, I definitely between very good and the very top of. That's a bit of a disservice to Jamie Vardy. I think he's in very good.
I'd be happy. I agree.
Below Kane.
Right.
Oh, I don't know because he's won a Premier League.
You can review this at the end.
Right, okay, but definitely very good, I'd say.
Next one is Jermaine Defoe.
Backsman.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's been around the Premier League for a while. I mean, remember the game against Wigan? I think he scored 5 against Wigan when they won 9-1.
Really good player.
But like you said before, like how you're saying, he's never won anything, has he?
No, but he's a very good striker.
He has actually won the FA Cup, I think, with Portsmouth.
I'm not 100% sure.
But
he's a very, very good striker.
Yeah.
Scored a lot of goals consistently. Did it for a number of clubs in the Premier League as well as abroad. If you count Scotland as abroad. Yeah, true.
So.
But I'd say he's not world class. He's in very good in terms of this list.
You reckon?
Yeah. Do you agree? Do you disagree?
I was going to put him in good, personally.
No chance. No chance he's not had a better Premier League career than Harry Kane so far or Dimitar Berbatov, for me.
Okay. Well, all right. We'll put him very good and we'll go after this. We'll see what he's
Okay.
And next one we've got on this list is Mr. Chompman, is Luis Suarez.
Do you know what? This is the first one in a while I'd be tempted to put in GOAT.
Really?
I just think individual quality, he's one of the best in this list. He is just phenomenal. The only thing that I'd bring in on, the only thing, is that he's not played long enough in terms of like longevity, and he had controversial incidents like with the Evra and the buy-in. But if we're just going on him as a footballer, he's one of the best we've seen. We've seen how well he's playing for Atletico Madrid at the moment. Barcelona are absolutely stupid to let him go. But if he's not in GOAT for me, he's at the very, very top of world class. There is no one better on this list in terms of just the range he could score with, the range of goals, the ability on the ball, even a vision for a striker was phenomenal, and the partnership he drew up with Daniel Sturridge was good enough, let alone that. But I don't know your opinions on him, but I think in terms of just overall quality, he was incredible.
I mean, he's John Ruddy's worst nightmare. I mean, he scored about 15 goals against Norwich. I mean, every time he played Norwich, he scored like 3 or 4. It's ridiculous. But I mean, I have no doubt agree with you. The fact that if he played in the Premier League longer, he could have been one of the best ever players in the Premier League. I mean, not as if he's not now. What I'm saying is, the fact I think it's a bit harsh that he didn't win the Premier League again that season. I mean, they were clear in the Premier League, and then Gerrard decided to fall over.
I don't think that was Suarez's fault in particular, though.
What I'm saying to you, Anna. I mean, you could tell he was emotional about it, and he was crying when he after that Crystal Palace game. You know, he probably wanted. He was invested in Liverpool, which is good to see actually.
Did he win the? I'm pretty sure he won the Premier League's Player of the Year that season. Or am I?
I'm not.
I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that.
We didn't win the Premier League game. Is what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
So.
But it was not down to him. He scored so many goals. I'd say top of world class just because of longevity. But I think he's as close to GOAT as you can get personally.
Okay. And next one we've got on this list is Michael Owen. He's played for Liverpool, Man United. I've noted in the Premier League that I know. I
don't think you really count Man United. He didn't do anything apart from score
the winner in the derby.
The winner in the derby. 3 minutes added on, it scored in the 97th minute. He was typical.
He was the next person to take Cristiano's number 7.
Oh right, okay.
So I found this in the quiz the other day actually. The last player people to wear number 7 Man United. He was the first one after Ronaldo to wear number 7.
Okay. Well, I think he was similar to. Who's he similar to on that list? I'd be tempted to put him between world class and very good.
Right.
Again, he's a player that we've not seen. We've left a lot of players that are on this list out because I don't think we do him enough justice. The ones that we have put in that we've not seen is because we've heard enough about them to really rank them. There's a few that we've left out that are on this list that you might go, hang on, how's he not in there? It's because we haven't seen him or heard enough about him to put him on the list. But Michael Owen, growing up, it just felt like every time you turned on the TV, he'd scored another 2 goals or he'd scored another hat-trick, you know what I mean? Again, I think he goes near the top of very good.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I agree with Alex about growing up. I mean, the goalie is Argentina, he scored in one of his first games for England.
mm-hmm.
You can do it at that young age, and surely he's got no without a shadow of a doubt. He's had a great career. I mean, one of the first few Englishmen to go across to Spain, play for Real Madrid.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm happy to go very good personally, but I think he's just below world class. I reckon maybe in the world class,
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say so. Come on, we've not put anyone in world class.
Right.
Put him there.
Next one is Nicolas Anelka. He's been around the block in the Premier League. I'll say that.
Have you watched his documentary?
I have not, mate.
No,
I didn't realize that one.
Really good. Called Misunderstood on Netflix. There's a lot of controversy in Nicolas Anelka's career. As you said, he's been around the block, but it kind of details kind of like what he did in his career and why he made them decisions.
So he played for Man City, didn't he?
Yeah, he played for Man City. That's one of them transfers where it was kind of like, how did we get him? Like, he was that good. It was like, wow, like, how have we got him? But again, it's similar to a few of the other players we talked about, that he was so like caked in controversy that it was a big risk to take on.
Right.
And obviously, the goal celebration with Bolton that got him in a lot of trouble.
Was that the flat? Was that?
No. It was a different one. It was a different one. It was some sort of salute. I can't remember what connotations it had, but it was like very political and stuff like that. So he got in a lot of trouble for that. I think he was at Bolton when he did it, and he got released from there. But he, again, was a really, really good footballer. Probably below Diego Costa, though. I'd put him in good, but below Costa.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like we said before,
could have been a magnificent footballer if he'd applied himself a lot more than he did, in my opinion.
Next one on this list is the current Man United manager, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Oh, are we putting him on his managerial ability or his footballing ability? Below average. There's a new tier. No, I'm joking.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I mean, he's a poacher in his day. He
really good career.
Pop up in the right positions.
Fantastic Man United career.
Everyone knows him for his 99 cameo off the bench. But yeah, I mean, he's one of those players that will be constantly in the right place at the right time and nick those little goals from like 4 or 5 yards out and poke him in, and just you'd constantly be a threat in the box, a menace. And
I think we'd be doing him a disservice if we don't put him anywhere near the top of very good. He was so good for Man United. I feel like we're saying this a lot because Man United have really dominated the Premier League era, but he was so good for Man United. Yeah, maybe he was overshadowed at times with other players, but he was there for a good 10 or so years, and he always scored goals, and he was always a great option for him. So I'd put him near the top of very good. Whether you put him probably, yeah,
happy with that.
Yeah.
This list is the Mr. Sniffer. It is Robbie Fowler. I think I personally don't know a lot about Robbie Fowler.
No, I don't either. Played for
Leeds, Liverpool.
Played for City.
Was that towards the end of his career? Was it?
Yeah, towards the end of his career. Good player, really good player. He's probably another one for the very good. Just above Carlos Tevez, maybe. Again, like Jamie said, we've not seen a lot of Robbie Fowler. I've seen clips of him, but might, again, for the word of the video, doing him a disservice. But he is definitely in very good. Maybe if I'd have seen him around that time, we'd have put him in world class. But he is a phenomenal footballer, and we just don't want to judge him as much as we can because we didn't see him week in, week out like we do today.
Next player we've got is the Republic of Ireland legend. It is Robbie Keane. Known for his bang celebration. Well, mainly for me anyway. But I reckon he is 100% a legend at Tottenham Hotspur.
I've actually had to Google his record because I had no idea. But he scored 126 goals in nearly 350 appearances for Spurs. Was it just Spurs?
Yes, I think it is. So he scored basically 1 in every 3 games he's scoring, which is inferior. So it's 38.
I feel like we're going to have a lot of people in very good.
I
just don't
think it'd be probably good. Probably Keane personally.
Really?
Well, I mean, comparing him to so many people on his list.
Yeah. Maybe above Diego Costa.
Yeah.
Okay, we can switch it around quickly at the end,
Yeah.
but we'll go for that for now. But above Diego Costa, definitely.
There we go. And the next player we've got is Robin van Persie. Straight away off the bat, I think he's world class.
I agree. I think Robin van Persie was world class for both Arsenal and Man United for so many years, and the fact that he made that switch was controversial.
100%.
But United had just been kind of knocked off their perch by their biggest rivals. He's come in and pretty much in that season single-handedly guided them to the 20th Premier League title. Technically fantastic for both club and country, but in the Premier League, he was different class. Whereabouts he goes in world class? Honestly, I'd say around Didier Drogba.
Right. That'd be one for you to at home.
Just below. Around. Oh.
So ask these people.
Just
people
below
watching,
Didier
people
Drogba, I'd say.
watching, who do you think's better in their day, Didier Drogba or Van Persie? I'd be
Good
interested to
question.
say on
Yeah,
it. But,
be an interesting question.
well,
I'd put Costa just above him. Oh, not Costa. Drogba. Not Costa. Drogba just above him. Oh, I don't know. That's an hour.
I'm personally a big fan of Didier Drogba. That's why I rate him so much. But rather than Van Persie in his day, wow. I mean, he had everything. He had long shots, as we all know. He had great heading ability in the air. He could poach as well. I mean, he's an all-round striker that you want at your club. So I think 100% he's going to be a world-class footballer. Next player we've got this list is Romelu Lukaku. I mean, if you type in his goal record a second in the Premier League, you'd be surprised at how many goals he's scored.
Yeah, he's really good.
You don't really
Underrated. 113 in 250. Good.
So,
I just think he's good.
really?
Compared to the list, is he had a better Premier League career than Jamie Vardy? No. Has he had a better Premier League career than Harry Kane? Probably not. No, because he's not won as many golden boots.
This is what I said about Jermaine Defoe. I think Lukaku's better than Jermaine Defoe.
Okay.
So, but we've put him in Jermaine Defoe and very good, but I don't think Lukaku is class.
But then I do think that I do think we're selling Robbie Keane a bit short if we put Lukaku ahead of him. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being
I think Lukaku is better than Robbie Keane, personally.
Okay, we can put him between Vardy and Defoe. The only thing I think gives Vardy the edge on Lukaku is he's won the Premier League, and he has that
goal scoring
record of the 13 in a row.
Next one we've got here is Ruud van der Sar.
World class straight away.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
He's like third in all-time top goal scorers. I'm pretty sure. I'll double check, but he was just fantastic, and his goal scoring record, I'm pretty sure he's third. That might be wrong. No, goals. No, he wasn't. Wait.
I don't think he scored that many in the Premier League.
Oh right, okay. Maybe I was thinking of Andy Cole. No, we were right about Andy Cole before. That was absolutely horrible for me. But his goal scoring record, he's not in the top 20.
No, I don't think he scored loads.
No, but I thought he was.
I don't think he played for Man United for many seasons. I think that was the thing.
But he was brilliant.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Well, he's made an impact, so I don't really sure. That's what I'm saying to you. So there's no doubt that. So what is he on Premier League?
95 and 100, and he only made 150 appearances. To be fair.
Wow.
So that's a goal and assist every 1.5 games.
Yeah.
I think he's a world class footballer. But his goal scoring record's not as good as some of the people in very good.
No, but it is 95 and 150. That's better than some people in very good is like 1 in 3, for example.
True.
So like 150 odd goals.
Who does he go above him world class though?
Owen. I think he goes, but definitely. I think we'll review it at the end anyway.
Okay.
Moving around, but definitely world class for Venice right now. Next one is your best mate, Sergio Aguero.
I'm very biased, but he's one of the best Premier League strikers there has ever been. He's the highest foreign goal scorer in Premier League history, above some absolutely brilliant players. He's scored the most hat-tricks out of anyone in Premier League ever, the most iconic Premier League moment ever. He shouldn't be as good as he is, the size he is, the low centre of gravity. He can score headers, he can score outside the box, inside the box. scored, pretty sure, apart from last season, which he's been played by injuries, and this season, scored 20 goals in every single Premier League season since he's come. And I think that was a record. So I think he's one of the greatest to ever play. I'm obviously a little bit biased, but I think the impact he's had on the Premier League, he's one of the best. I know a lot of people that aren't even City fans say he's the best. But I think from everything he's done in this league, and not just that moment, because players have moments. All right, that is a big moment.
I forget that moment that is like 9 years ago now. I mean, he's been in the Premier League for 9 years and he's scored 20 plus goals every
Honestly,
season.
if he'd have stayed, the only downfall Aguero's had is that he's not stayed fit for long. If he stayed fit for long enough, honestly, I think he'd be near Alan Shearer in terms of goal scoring. It looks like he's going to finish around 4th.
Right.
I think he's. I'm gonna have to Google this again. I'm pretty sure he's 4th, behind Rooney. Yeah, that was good knowledge. There you go. Oh, you got that on camera. Got that right. He's 4th between Andy Cole, Rooney, and Shearer. But no doubt in my mind, if Aguero was fit for the whole time he was here, he'd have been above Rooney by now and chasing Shearer. Maybe not at Shearer, but I think he deserves to be.
I mean, I totally agree. I mean, end of the day, do you think he's better than Luis Suarez? I think
someone had this debate the other day. In terms of ability, I think they're very similar, but he is very similar in terms of how they play. And Suarez on his day can be better quality than Aguero.
I think if you look back at the best strikers to ever grace the Premier League, Aguero is 100% in that top 3 without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah. Suarez would have been if he'd have stayed in the Premier League longer, but obviously dream move to Barcelona. South Americans, dream move to Barcelona, kind of following him and playing with Messi. I think he'd have been up there, Suarez, if he'd have stayed longer. But I put him in the top 3, so I put him in GOAT.
You put him in GOAT?
Yeah. Well, if he's in the top 3, he's one of the greatest of all time in the Premier League. If he leaves today, he'll be known as one of the greatest Premier League strikers ever. Are there any of these known as? I mean, Drogba maybe, and Cantona and stuff. But like in terms of, I don't know, because if you're talking about a team of the Premier League, Aguero is in there. The conversations with Shearer and one we'll come on to. They're probably the 3 that are in that conversation. So I made me let my feelings know, but I think he's up there. Obviously not as good as Shearer, because Shearer's goal scoring record was phenomenal. But honestly, barring injuries, he'd been the top goal scorer and he's so underrated. I think in terms of the impact he's had. I think everyone will only know the impact. Plus his Big Six record. He's not like he's scoring goals. He does, but he's scoring goals against the Big Six. There was a graphic that came out last year. It was like in the 20 Premier League, who was like their most feared player in terms of like the scores. You know, he said with Suarez with Norwich. I think Aguero was like 11 of the 20 teams. Like, so it was just ridiculous. And one was United, Chelsea, Tottenham. He scored. The only ground he's not scored at since he came to the Premier League was Bolton Wanderers, because they were in the Premier League for 1 season while I was there, and he didn't score when we played away at Bolton Wanderers. His record is the only thing he's not done at City is win him a European Cup. It's the only thing he's not done.
I don't think I'd say on that. I mean, no shadow of a doubt. I mean, do you think, like you said, if he stayed fit, he probably would be on the level of Alan Shearer?
Look, I admit I'm biased. Look, he's my favourite ever player, but I just think that I can be very subjective and unbiased about things, but I don't think there's any point in arguing that he's not one of the best that we've seen on these shores, and he is factually in terms of goals as well.
Yeah.
So
like you were saying, then he would have overtaken Alan Shearer if he was fit.
Maybe not even overtaking him, but he'd be very close to him, in my opinion.
I was only going to say world class due to the fact that he is at the moment 4th in the all-time goal scorers, which surprises me. Well, not surprises me, but the fact that he is scoring that many goals every season for 9 years consecutively, that there's still players above him, makes you think about other players, how well they've done in the Premier League history. Like Andy Cole's third top goal scorer, and we put him in world class, but they'll Cantona and Suarez. So,
true. Maybe Cole needs to go a bit further up in the world class category.
We'll review it at the end anyway. But I'm happy to put Aguero in one of the greatest of all time, personally. And the next player we are going for is the Frenchman. That is Thierry Henry, the legend for Arsenal. Without a doubt, probably a very world class player. We can write that off, put that in straight away. But would you say he is better than Luis Suarez.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he's in goal winner. Let's be honest.
He's going for GOAT.
He's arguably the best out of the whole list. His goal scoring record was good.
Just good.
Oh, just good. Yeah, sorry, just good. Because he's more to Thierry Henry, wasn't he? He was an icon, first of all, but he was also a phenomenal player. I know every time I speak to my mum, he used to go like home and away to City. She said she used to hate facing Thierry Henry. She used to say it just seemed inevitable that he was going to score. And he's just, I don't know what else to say about him, because we just hear that he is just incredible. So I put him in the goal. I put him up above Serge. Probably, me personally, I put him above Shearer, but put him above Shearer for me. Do you agree? Do you agree?
There's actually no doubt, yeah, that's such amazing talent. It's just the fact that because Alan Shearer's the top goal scorer in the Premier League, it's kind of hard to say.
Okay, right, we'll just leave him there for now.
But yeah, I mean, it's not without a shadow of a doubt, he is one of the greatest players to ever grace the Premier League, or in the world, in fact, anyway. But especially in the Premier League, where he made Mark more, I think, than any other league. But I think he's just better than Aguero. But I think it's because of the fact that Henry,
No, I think he's better than Aguero.
I think because the more that Henry's more than one dimensional, he can do anything.
He could have played in multiple positions.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And he did.
He can run from the halfway line and score, just chip the keeper. So he's done it plenty of times, especially with the link with Dennis.
He was the best player in the Premier League for so many years. Like he dominated the Premier League for so many years with Arsenal and multiple league titles, including one where they went unbeaten. So
fair enough. And the last part of this list is the Manchester United legend Wayne Rooney. I'd personally put him as GOAT as well.
Yeah, I was going to say he's another one who's amongst the best. He's second overall in terms of Premier League goal scorers. Was an absolute menace, and
Man United's all-time goal scorer as well.
Yeah, England captain. The only thing that was missing from Wayne Rooney's game was goals in big tournaments. That was the most frustrating thing ever.
He's got one goal there in the World Cup.
Yeah,
that's all he's got to say for himself.
But
that's it.
He was just. It was inevitable that he was going to score. I know me personally as a City fan, he used to score against us all the time. Even when he moved to Everton later on in his career, he came back and scored 2 goals. He was like, oh, nice one. I don't think you could argue even him being world class. I think he's just one of the greatest ever Premier League strikers factually. Where he is in that top 4, I don't know. It is tough. I could have any of them top 4 in any order personally.
Totally
they were all brilliant
in
their own ways. But he's definitely, I agree with you, GOAT for me.
GOAT, yeah. Now it's time to review. Is there anyone on your list you want to move in front of someone else or not? Or
let me have a look.
you want to shake around?
I put Andy Cole at the top of world class.
Right.
Because I agree. I think if we're going to look at goal scorers, you can't argue with his goal scoring record. I didn't actually realise that Van Nistelrooy hadn't got. I thought Van Nistelrooy was up there.
You didn't play many seasons, Premier League, but you made that much of an impact. Like
yeah,
you played like 15 seasons.
That might have been why it was.
So
the only one I think that we may be doing a bit of a disservice to, maybe Dwight York.
Right.
Maybe up one. I don't know. Do you have anyone in particular that you want to switch around?
Not
I think we've got a decent list there. I do think we've got a decent list. I honestly, I think there was only one average striker there, unfortunately, to Emmanuel Aubameyang.
Yeah.
There is a few players, like I said before, that are below this list that
we just haven't. Well, we'll rattle a few names off, just the ones that are Dion Dublin,
Gianfranco
Zola. We can't.
Ian Wright is the only one that I'd say that I could have put in, but if Ian Wright was in there, of my opinion, I'd have put him in world class. He was world class, but we don't want to judge him completely because we could be completely wrong. Like Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, who else was in there? Les Ferdinand, Mark Hughes, definitely was before our time. Unless do you think there's anyone else we could have swapped around?
No, I mean I'm happy. I don't think there's anyone who can really move around. Really, I mean I was about Jermaine Defoe.
Defoe maybe,
but he's probably he's a very good striker. Without a shadow of doubt, so I don't think I'm really moving.
But what we're going to do is when this video goes up, sometime midweek, we'll post this on Twitter and we'll get your opinions on it. And there'll be clips going out on TikTok as well. So make sure you go and follow the TikTok. They're both at Over the Line TikTok it's Over the Line Football. Twitter is Over the Line YT. But I will leave links in the description for that. But this has been the third ever Over the Line podcast, football podcast. This has been the probably the most chattiest one we've done, because the other one has been focused on now. This is basically our opinions. If you want to see more content like this, maybe in a smaller version of a video,
or the one we create ourselves, it could be anything. So you name it a topic in the comments or anything like that, and we'll just fire them off ourselves. Like I said, this one is just from Tearmaker itself.
Yeah.
This is already a preloaded one, so we can easily create our own if we really want us to make one. Like for example, we could make what maybe doing for the future is about England's possible Euro 2020 squad, well, Euro 2021 technically. Players we think we should get in the squad. I think maybe overrated shouldn't get in the squad anyway. It'll work out from there, but I'm happy to call it a day there. You happy to call it a day?
Yeah, I'm fine. Make sure you go back and watch some of the videos we recorded last week. We did one on Thomas Tuchel, who actually got his first win as Chelsea boss this weekend, and we talked about a lot of the stuff he could bring to Chelsea last week. It was transfer deadline day today. So a few of them deals that we talked about actually gone through. So if you want to go back and look at that, we also did a podcast on the FA Cup last week as well. But make sure you just subscribe, because we're just trying to push it out as much as possible at the moment, and keep growing. Live streams will be coming soon. We're looking into that, watching games with you guys. Lockdown's a bit hard. Obviously, we can sit here because we count as filming videos. It's part of the thing. But we're going to look to get you set up on a video link with me, and we can
fingers crossed.
And start watching some games. But yeah, thank you as always. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.